Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Let's Talk Tridactyls. I'm your host, Mr. Ed, former archaeologist, paleontological tech for the Graves Museum of Archaeology and Natural History, as well as the other iterations of that continuing museum as the South Florida Museum of Natural History and as the activities coordinator for the Palm Beach Museum of Natural History. I was an actual working archaeologist, if you can believe that. So I like to think I bring a certain unique something to the table when it comes to the Tridactyls. What makes my experience so different is that I like to suggest that I recognize the Tridactyls from petroglyphs in the Bella Coola region of Canada and in Caribbean. Hopefully get some people on here tonight. That'd be fun. We've been having a busy week with my other two shows. The Green Room, Wednesdays at 1 p.m. on X, where I get to interact with some of you and answer some questions. So that's super fun. Be sure to go to Tridactyls.com, which we'll run over there real quick ourselves, just so we can take a look at the store. The store does cost me money to run, so it's always nice to see people purchasing something. I will be doing a price change. Doesn't mean everything will be going up. I might reduce some as well. But there's going to be some price changes and probably also might actually just remove some product too. So let's see what we can share with you on the window of the store, because that'll be fun. Don't even see it. Well, we'll just have to put the Tridactyl store on the television here. There it is. Cool. So let's see here. Minimize that. Awesome. Let me bring my chat back too. Let's go ahead and just look at this full screen. All right. So you can just see some of the products. Boy, that last one's real expensive. But, I thought it was a cool product nonetheless. It's, I wouldn't buy it probably, so I'm not expecting you all to. But if you want to take a part in the fun, then yeah, get something. We'll be adding more art, more products, so that's going to be cool. Let's get a little background music, because I think this is exciting stuff and it deserves something cinematic. Thanks to Restream. This is a great product with Restream. I want to really like what's happening here. Able to imagine in the old days if you said, "Oh, I have a TV show, but it's on ABC, CBS, NBC, etc." Wouldn't that be cool? So yeah, is there anything on here you guys like? Anything you'd like to see? We've got my original art here. This is super popular, probably our most popular product here. So hopefully the accountant is happy with me that I'm showing the store. Definitely going to have to add some new larva products. Oh, I'd like to add some new iconography, some new symbols. A lot of these products are probably going to get removed because it's the old logo. Anyway, yeah. So that's cool. Good stuff. So what is going on this week? Well, I know we have a new report from Galetki. We have a video that has Dr. Korkov speaking. So the Russian team is busy. I understand a Chinese team is going to be releasing a paper. My paper is also on Tridactyls.com. So why don't we go ahead back over to there so we can at least take a look at what my paper has to say. We're going to be getting a new website soon, hopefully within Hopefully by spring, at least. I say soon, right? Let's take a look at my paper as just a reminder of what do we got here. Yeah. So I'm calling it a monograph because it's kind of a decisive explanation of these things. And you can see we're going to have to maybe add a few things like a little bit more on the larva boring through the bone. I'm definitely seeing more and more evidence of that. So that's interesting. So these are the type of things you're going to be looking for with my work. Yeah. So I also have a little chalkboard for us tonight. I thought that could be fun. Yeah, a chalkboard. So where I'm just going to we can use this tonight to sort of help us along. Let's see here. All right, cool. So what can we say on our chalkboard tonight? And we can sort of keep track of what we're doing here. And what, I went to white. How boring. I guess I have to hit duplicate, right? Duplicates, there we go. All right, we're on the chalkboard. Cool. So let's see. What are we talking about? What's happening in the world? We can use this to do a little writing here. So we've gone to Tridactyls.com for monograph and store. And we're talking about Tridactyls video, Galecki paper, I think I spelled that right, and new Tridactyl specimen. All right. And we'll just blow this up. So if anybody comes to join us today, you'll see that we have this on the screen. And this is what we're covering so far today. Keeps me on track, and I think, put stuff out there for us. Sweet. So let's see what we do have. We talked about my paper. Let's go look at the Galecki paper and see what he has to say. What do you say about that? Welcome to Constant Companion Theory. I'm Ed, your host, the Xenoanthropologist, former archaeologist. And let's go all the way up to the top with this here. Let's go up to, Galecki. There you go. See? Galecki. I forgot the S, it looks like. All right. Dr. Galecki has a paper out. Associate Professor of the Department of Dentistry, Surgical and Maxillofacial Surgery. So it's good to see his credentials there because, and I've been called El Doctor, which I appreciate very much. I'm very honored to hear that. But we have to be careful because, of course, South America and Mexico is a cultural term of respect. El Doctor is thrown around quite a bit. So it's good to see this guy is a MD, PhD. So that is definitely encouraging. And I believe our paleontologist, Clifford Miles, kind of riffed off of Galecki's stuff here. So let's see, what do we have in his paper? So here's his contents. Why don't we just skip right to conclusions? What do you say about that? So definitely take a look at this for yourself, because at least this is another scientific report. All right, we got Mark coming in from Boca Raton, checking in on the show today. Welcome to Let's Talk Tridactyls. We're in the 7 p.m. time slot, of when I used to watch In Search Of, and In Search Of changed my life because it was that Patterson Bigfoot video. If it wasn't for that Patterson Bigfoot video, I wouldn't have become a anthropologist. A lot of people think that we all jump into this to be like Indiana Jones or something, right? Conclusions. So let's just take a look at what his conclusions are. I'll go ahead and full screen that. The presented material, should I say it in the Russian accent? The presented material provides unequivocal evidence that the mummies examined are indeed the original remains, I don't know, did that sound Russian? Remains of real creatures that underwent natural mummification after death. All right, that's enough of that. It is evident that they are not dummies, nor are they a combination of parts of individual animals. There you go. Concurrently, online sources have been identified that purport to demonstrate the forgery of the mummies from the Nazca region. A thorough review of the extant literature reveals a conspicuous absence of any analysis of CT scans. Nevertheless, the possibility of forgery cannot be discounted. Given the prosperity of private collectors to allocate financial resources towards the acquisition of authentic artifacts. It can be stated that the CT scans under review were obtained by means of a topographic imaging of real individuals. Well, that's a something. And we got Sammy checking in. Sammy, are you in the UK or are you in the sunny state of Florida? How did you like the sunny state of Florida, Lash? Did you like it, Lashy? Yeah. It's funny. I want to look like Harrison Ford, but I look a little bit more like his father, don't I? So yeah, we're trying to go over. Let's go check out our chalkboard. Yeah. And we can add our S to it. Now, is that spelled correctly? For the love of God. I don't know, is it? So, yeah, let's look at the new Tridactyl specimen. That's fun. Because I also have some thoughts on this. Let's see. Did I save the picture? Let me see if I saved the picture, because that way, well, I can just save it now. Well, I can zoom in on it. So there is a new, I don't know if they have a species specimen name yet for it. It looks pretty robust. They said they compared it to the Joyce specimen. So the Joyce specimen, of course, is the only one that is biologically appears to be human male. So there's that. Let's see here. Let's look at the new specimen. Oh, man, I've got some great pictures, though, because, of course, I've been in the scans all week. So I saw Mark checked in during the week. Yeah, I've been doing the random larva hunts. If you guys aren't convinced, you got to let me know, and let me know what I have to do to convince you that there are larvae in the Tridactyls. Let's go to my Reddit for this one, and we can look at the new specimen from there for now. I'm going to go ahead and save that image, and then can I open it from immediately? Let's open it, because then we can zoom in, right? All right, let's go all the way, and let's I think we need a little music for this. I don't even hear it. Maybe you guys do. Nope. That's dramatic. Now, of course, I'm zooming in because I believe you should be able to see the larval forms attempting to escape from the body, or they were caught in a state of release, the diatomaceous earth stopping them in their tracks, suffocating them and the host. Wow. That's pretty cool looking. I wonder what they're going to name it. Very cool. Well, I try to split up my studies between the biology and between the cultural studies. And culturally, what I'm trying to get into is some of the Chinese ancient history. I believe we look into the tales of a semi-divine deity, Gun, and his son Yu. Their iconography, the meaning of their names many times in Old Chinese refers to a crawling insect, or the Naga phoneme, Niga? Yeah, it sounds like for a reason, I suggest. Oh, the irony. Yeah, that sound I've been following around. I suggest it's the code of the Naga. It shows us that this is an important thing. I suggest the names of the deities at one point were so important that we now use them as pronouns. And you can see that in use like the word Ka, I believe, in the Maori language, for example. So Ka, I suggest, is a god, a deity, a tridactyl, and it becomes a pronoun later on. And that could be with he and she. Let's see. Okay, let's see. We got some comments coming in. Let's see. My mouse is gets to that point where it's like it doesn't understand where it's at. Hey, man, you're over here. All right. So we got Sammy who's saying she is convinced. We got say, call her Bertha. She looks like she's giving birth. Yeah, it's a robust. Look at that head. That might be even scarier than Joyce, I think. What do you think? Okay, we got greetings, Mr. Costas, as always, doing a superb job, responsibly promoting the Nazca mummies case in the English-speaking world. Why, thank you so much. Much appreciated, much appreciated. Live long and prosper. A nice tridactyl palm to you, Trid says hello. We got Trid. We name them different names. It helps so I know what graphic I'm talking about. Trid is our little CGI guy, little puppet. And then we got Inti's our little cartoon looking like Warner Brothers or something guy. We will be giving away here a tridactyl head. This is Josephina. I've got Josephina loaded up tonight on the scans. I'm trying not to do too much larva hunting on Sundays since I've been doing it all week. But since she is loaded, let's go ahead and take a look at where'd she go. I say she's loaded, and then I go to look for her, and like, she's gone. Well, anyway, let's talk about something else then. Yeah, we're giving away the head later. And, thanks again for that, saying that, Mr. Rosenkrantz. I appreciate that. It's responsibly promoting. Doing the best I can. Some people suggest my larva theory is irresponsible. I do not think it is. I think I'm seeing multiple forms. It's not pareidolia when you're seeing little animals. Now, of course, everyone's big confusion is like, well, why? How could you know that they were there if the medical teams didn't see them? Now, I hate to get conspiratorial, but if you trust anything I say, or if you believe in any of my finds, the Euro style, which is the sign of an Anuran amphibian that has its tail resorbed that we see in Louisa and Maria. If you believe that, if you believe that I successfully predicted a parietal penial, well, not parietal penial, I actually predicted a penial. I didn't know it was going to be a dual parietal penial gland here. And so, I should probably draw this on. I would love to draw it on my little head here, because right behind the supraorbital arches, that's what gives us our heart shape, is that cordiform shape, is these arches. And these arches, by the way, I don't see those in Suye. So I think those are primate arches. So right here is what's called a parietal foramen, which was identified by the paleontologist. Admittedly, I sent the photos to him. I didn't give him a heads up what he was looking at. A little dishonest of me. I don't know. We got an honest answer from him, though. Parietal foramen runs down the middle. One side's the pineal gland underneath. Backside, posterior to that, is the parietal eye. That parietal eye may have even affected the breeding cycle. So, but why? Why, Ed? How did you know that there was larvae in there? How could this even be? Because, my friends, the Hongshan pig dragons predicted it. Yeah. I saw these and I said, oh my God, the ancients knew. You know, another form of these, it's the more primitive version, which now I think I found the biological explanation for the Magatama. Magatama. Let's go to our chalkboard, because I like when we talk about different things to throw it onto the chalkboard. And we'll go ahead and we're going to duplicate this slide here. All right. So let's add some stuff to the chalkboard. So let's talk about Magatamas, Magatama, and Hongshan pig dragons. And of course, if we're talking about Magatamas and Hongshan pig dragons, then we are also talking about, let's just get rid of that. What are we talking about? Well, we're also going to talk about then, that would bring up the Jomon culture of the Ainu and the Dogu ceramics. All right, so just putting some things up here. And of course, you didn't see any of that, so let's share it. The idea was to share it while I was saying the damn words. All right, it's awfully biggish. Awfully biggin. So yeah, it's weird if you ever use this restream thing. It like the mouse gets crazy. Okay, cool. How's it going, everybody? So yeah, there's some things we're talking about, but it wasn't just these now, mind you, because in South America, we have Paracas culture, Paracas and serpentine, mouth serpents, or life serpents. And maybe another better way just to put it, life serpents. I'll tell you why in a second. Life serpents from the mouth. In Mesoamerica, we have water jaguars, and they spit out life scrolls, which guess what they look like? Magatama. All right. I don't know what happened to all that. Well, it was a good plan while it lasted. What just happened? Can I just hit Control Z? All right. Anyway, let's go back to something else. Woo, let's see. Here we got a question coming in. Do you think it's possible the insectoid specimens related to their life cycle are completely different species? Awesome, great, super question. I suggest the best way to look at them is, boy, was this a gift? Was this left for us to find? Because I suggest that must be a basal type, the type genus, if you will. So hypothetically, if I were to give these a genus of Naga and a species of Tridactyls, I might want to give this one a subspecies, kind of like we do with humans. And I might want to call that one Nagi. I suggest the insectoids are basal genus types. So a better way to put this, let me be clear. The type specimens for the genus. So I suggest are the precursors. And one of the easiest ways to realize this is that those spinal eminences are very, very strange. Its serpentine tubular body is very different than the others. And since I've been looking at the larva, it does not seem to be a young version. It does not. I don't know. I'm not seeing that in the larva. So I think that's your alien, people are looking for an alien. And again, the supraorbital arches, the insectoids don't have that. It's just completely flat. Yeah. So think about that. A flat face and a prognathic ape's face over time. Yeah, that could be our serpent mother, our horned serpent. Although I do believe I found plumed or feather serpent recently. I don't know if anybody saw that. Give me a shout out if you saw the plumed serpent I found. Unintentional. I was trying to prove a point that one gentleman had said that I had found mussel. I had misidentified mussel as tridactyl larva, but yet below the mussel was a beak-like bone. So I was trying to find that, and at that same time, crazy enough, I see a green blur run across. That's what it looked like. It was running. It looks, when you're doing the CT scan, it almost feels like it's animated. A green blur runs across the bottom of the screen. I'm like, what the hell was that? So let me show you. And I'm sorry about the graphics, but again, I like to tell people this is not a UFO group. This is not Bigfoot. These are things that are, their heads are no bigger than a centimeter, most of them. All right, here it is. And I might have even made better images of it now that I think about it. Since then, let me look real quick because, yeah, this one's even better, I think. And you'll be like, that's better? Yeah. Okay, so yeah, not the best image. I get it, but let's see if we can dissect this. I wish Restream let me draw. I think, of course, my picture saving program lets me draw, so I could do that, and maybe that'll help. Okay, and maybe it helps me zoom in and stuff too. So a green blur ran across my screen. I guess first question is, yeah, don't call it pareidolia. Oh, Jesus. I joke. It's like the way people act. I have a degree in pareidolia and coincidences. Okay, so yeah, I see it, and I hate to draw because I feel like the drawing makes me look even more unhinged. Okay, but it's like sometimes it's the only thing we can do to get this to work here. So let me hit some edit. Let me look at my screen. I had a complaint from somebody who said that, Ed, nobody wants to look up your nose. Okay. I don't know. I'm sure there might be people that are into that. All right. Does it let me draw? Okay. So we have an eye. And, I like to connect everything to culture. It's funny how much, when I look at some of the pictures, they're very like triangular eyes and they're like little jagged teeth. They look like jack-o'-lanterns. That just kind of supports my theory that I almost feel like people have known about these things. This is part of that whole conspiracy theory. Maybe it relates to the Tartarians. Maybe it relates to the reptilians. I don't know. That's not really my department. But when I see things in culture that I suggest, oh, that could be tridactyl influence, but yet there's usually some common explanation. I almost suggest we've just been manipulated for a long time. So let's see here. It looks like we have a couple of nostrils here. It looks like the beak kind of goes up this way. I'm going to give you a sort of rostrum. That's probably a tooth. I may have, gone over a tooth here. It's very faint. I admit it. Okay, we're going to go up to the head. Go up to the head, and we'll explain some of this other stuff here. Okay, this might be its paddle-like fin. I'm not positive about that. I think we're coming in okay. So we got that here. What does it look like he's gnawing on? It looks like he's gnawing on another head right here. This is strange. This looks like a blood spot was caught. It's giving him like a red chest, but it looks almost like maybe a I don't know. I don't know the graphics though, all this stuff. But the weird thing is what I call the feathered serpent. What it looks like is we have our earliest form of the larva. And I believe I saw this in the hand dissection also. And you guys might be able to see it, but I can barely make out what looks like a little head there. So this here is probably a spine coming up in the scans. Now, of course, these should be the most see-through of them all. So isn't that interesting? So is the plumes of the plume serpent nothing to do with feathers at all, but it has to deal with these Magatama hatchlings. And the same goes for the wings. Are wings just an optical illusion for our dragons? Because it looks like we have some older, more lancet versions here. And I think in the other picture, there was more than one of them. Let's see. I was hoping. Anyway, so we can get rid of that. Stop the share. Stop the share. How are we doing on time? We're doing great. I like to wrap up with the Tridactyl skull giveaway. You never know who's going to be our next wiener. I still promised everybody a Tridactyl role-playing game. So those of you that play Dungeons and Dragons, I do have full intentions of playing. We might just play it right here on Restream. Though I would prefer people on camera if they could. If they can't, I'll go on camera. Audio would be fun. If they can't do audio, we can do the text. So since we are getting kind of close, I did want to share. I said I was sharing Josephina this week. Let's see if we can get her up on the screen so it's legit. I don't know what's going on. I think I have a. There we go. I don't know what's going on. Always something. Oops. Okay, here we go. Here's Josephina today. Doing the best I can. I know it's not that good, but it is. That's all. Oh, yeah, it's not there again. Window. There it is. Boom. Okay. How's it going? Close up. You guys can't see squat. Okay. And again, drawing on this program, it usually ends up just sort of taking over when I do draw it, like changes the whole color and everything. But let's see. I can add a segment here. Not really drawing. Well, anyway, this was one of the earlier posts today. Hard to see. I'm guessing this is a sort of a tadpole type. And there's a lot of extra there. We can zoom in so we can just focus on. And I pretty much went down and just sort of got myself all the way into the nitty gritty of Josephina here to try to find a good representation. And then we can even look at the back side of Josephina there. And there's another kind of larval head there coming in. So I did go into Josephina today because I wanted to see if we could look at some of the larvae that are in the head. So we'll just take a quick peek because I do the larva hunting all week, so we don't have to spend too much time here. But let's see what we got. Yeah. Look at that. Let's change the setting there. There she is. So Josephina was one of the first ones that had a lot of scans done. And, I thought she was the one that was shown to the Mexican Congress, but that was Clara. And really, Luisa has more data points for me because she's got more scans. So they did a lot more work on her. And you can see I already did some work on her trying to locate some larval forms. Now, of course, on this scan, finding larval forms is not going to be the best. So we would have to switch to something a little more fleshy. But first, we want to reduce where we're going to look, where we're going to focus on. So it looks like we're not going to focus on the head. I lied. We're going to focus on the cavity here because it looks like it did a bunch of work there, and why make it harder for us? All right, so we're going in. So this is kind of what I do during the week, but I'll do it for several hours, and we'll usually play some groovy music in the background. So let's go ahead and put on our groovy music. Usually play some music, and sometimes for many hours. So it could be real fun, kind of relaxing. This is what we do. Just do larva. Welcome to the Constant Companion Theory. I'm your host, Mr. Ed. Join me as I attempt to become the world's greatest xenoanthropologist. Look at the x-rays. It's hard to see anything. Which kind of makes sense because, after all, these are amphibian larvae, which are almost very water. They're very permeable. So I do see what happens is you can see ghosts many times of the larva. Now I can play around with getting this in there deeper, perhaps back. Don't get too excited. There we go. Are we going to be able to pull some larvae out tonight, or will I look like a liar? Did that help us on the X-rays? Not really. I see something. I definitely see something. Oh, what's in here? What's this? Oh yeah, definitely something there. How do we get to it without losing it? That's the other thing. I end up going for it, and then we end up losing the image. Well, because look, it is right there. We could probably move in a little bit more. Let's try it. Did that help us? Hmm. Definitely see some ghosts in there. Can you guys see that on your screen? Let's see if I can bring some light to it. Oh yeah, see the little white thing? Any of these little gray blobs are typically soft tissue. Down here we can see what looks like a swimming form, a little proper tadpole perhaps. Again, let's play with the lighting and see if we can see more. Ooh, might even be a tridactyl head down there. Oh yeah. Look at this. What's over here? Very hard to see them on this type of the X-ray, to be honest. But every now and then, you're able to sort of go in, and it feels like you're there. That is a 3D image. You can see all the numbers on there. Well, there's only one thing to do, and that's switch to soft tissue, I think is the best bet. Or can we attack from this side? Let's look into some soft tissue. I can do this all night, so we're going to wrap this up. Okay, so now we're on a soft tissue view. We're out of the X-ray, so the bones are not as pronounced, and those gray masses there are tridactyl flesh. Typically, their rostrum is reflecting the beaks. Let's go in here. Well, definitely see some larval forms there. Let's go here real quick. We don't have to. I don't have to find the skeptic killer. That's what I'm looking for, though. I'm looking for the skeptic killer. A good 3D representation of one of the larvae that we can just tour all around the body and say, hey, here it is. Otherwise, we're kind of stuck with stuff like this. A little head there, I think, right? See the two eyes? And here we go. Ooh, that's a little more exciting, right? Now we definitely see there's things happening. Lots of life happening now. Now, of course, I suggest to people, if you say I'm seeing things, okay, well, if you are an expert in radiology, as I've heard some people say, and you're saying I'm seeing muscle, here's a good example. Well, then you have to explain to me why there are little eel things in the body. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. If this is pareidolia, then you have to explain to me why they're little eels with little beaks swimming in the bodies of the tridactyls. Okay? Lord help me. I mean, that looks like a face there. When I say it looks like a face, I'm not saying it reminds me of a face. I'm saying it looks like a tridactyl head in the process of eating its mother. Sometimes they remind me like hamsters or something. They have these benign little countenances to them. What happens if we move in? It's like, do you get more imagery or do I usually destroy it? And it's like, we'll never know. That's why I'm always recording things. And again, it's hard to tell because they're almost always face down. They're always eating. All you see are the two dots of the eyes many times and the supraorbital arches. Those are your friends, guys. At least if you want to help. Oh, here's another eater down here with a nice beak. Let's look at that. It looks like, look at that. And see, you know what's nice about that one, guys, is that it was already identified, right? So this was already identified on another scan as something of interest. So I'm glad we got to mess up the screen for you. It's like, I don't know. You hope to make it perfect. And it's like, I can't get it perfect. This is it. So we have a black eye here and we have a reflective rostrum. Likely just the supraorbital arches reflecting there, I'm guessing. Wow. I keep looking up at this section here. Something interesting going on there for sure. Anyway, fun stuff. Feel free to explain me what this stuff is, and we can discuss it. I think it's a good time to do our Tridactyl head giveaway here. So thanks for watching. We are not adding any new numbers, of course. I think we know this, right? We are just going to work with the numbers we have left. Otherwise, if I added numbers, then the people who've been playing will have less of a chance to win. And right now, they've got a pretty good chance of winning. So I'm also going to share with you that screen, the numbers. And we'll get to the Roll20 also. And then we may have to see what the rest of the world's doing, because then I wrap. I've done my job, right? I've done my duty for Tridactyls and humanity and for planet Earth. We got some more complex here. Let's see more. Let's see. We got more comments. The implants containing osmium show advanced metallurgy. Do you believe they are technically advanced? You said they are from here, ultra-terrestrial. Do you think they are still around? So, do you know, I've never actually read a report about the osmium. I see it listed on the alienproject.com. I've never actually read the report on any. I haven't seen it. So that's interesting. I don't know if it matters anyway. It's awesome. They have metal implants regardless. I think most of the implants are a local alloy. I'm more interested in, is there European bronze in the giant hand implants? And is there copper from the Great Lakes that worked its way down to South America? I think those two things are kind of interesting, even without the osmium. I, of course, suggest that those implants are mostly for larva management, with Artemis maybe being an early test subject where she has several implants all down her body through the gastralia stomach ribs. But I knew from the beginning that gastralia and the regular ribs were going to make some nice niches and nooks and crannies for the larva to get into. So ultimately, I think it's for extraction and possibly repair. You know, who knows? The breast implants may have just been looking ahead, because think about it: a creature that is four-limb first in development and metamorphosis, it's if its furcula is fractured by these things, and mind you, this is not just speculation. I see the larva have burrowed and bored into the furcula, into other bones. So ultimately, I think that's what that's for. Look at Sebastian. He's got like a garage door hanger on the back of his neck. And the larvae, I think, know it, or they knew the gravity of the situation, whatever direction they were, because that implant in his neck seems to be pulling up these beings. Yeah, I like the term terrestrials. Kind of harkens to Sumer. And again, if I'm seeing cultural explanations for things that I don't agree with that seem to be related to tridactyls, then they may have, and if they're so powerful and they're such the early deities, who's to say that they ever relinquished power? And did they just segue into some other role? I think ultimately they always chose a human representative at one point, or at least a hybrid representative that may have evolved into humanity. So, and if we're going to listen to the abductees, and if we're going to listen to the accounts of indigenous people, then my gosh, they're still here. But they may be more powerful. I hate to use power because it's like a video game or something, but there may be a deeper significance to them than even just beings on craft. I think other people have alluded to that too. So I'm reminded of shamanism and how they believe that everything inhabits a spirit, you know. Okay, we're going to share this also. We're going to share the Roll20, which we're going to be using in the future for that Tridactyl game. I just got to get motivated, you know. I'm not a motivated kind of guy. I'm motivated to find larvae. I am motivated to find the larva. That's what I'm motivated to do, because I think between that, the diatomaceous earth, and the metal implants, that this all is a nice, tight, to me, woven theory. So anyway, let's wrap this up. Let's give this head away, for the love of God. And I really want to share, though, the Roll20. We can go back to the numbers afterwards. Okay, here's our list here. Our numbers. Let's get a little bit more. Where's my dice? Over here. Looking at the wrong screen. Here we go. Guys ready? Good luck, everybody. Coming in, we got 06. 06. And we share our next screen to see what 06 is. Someone by the name of Tyler. I'm not even sure who that is. All right, well, Aaron Nunn actually got his, I believe, or at least it was mailed. Right, Aaron? You there? No, it's Anthony Armstrong. So Aaron got his. Tyler, I guess congratulations, Tyler. And we take Tyler off the list. And we look forward to more wins. No, not off topic, I don't think. Anthony Armstrong, not off topic at all. If you ask me. I think you were right on topic. Got a good luck from Mark. Congratulations to Tyler. Very cool. So hopefully we covered everything we wanted to cover. I think I identified up to 7 different metamorphic stages, which makes sense because if you look at the amphibian, I think it's called the Gosner stages or Gosner amphibian stages. There's like 46 stages. So me identifying 7 doesn't seem that unusual. Yeah, so there looks like there's little pink ones. It looks like the color for some reason on the CT scan is actually coming out accurate, which is I can't explain that. That's very weird to me. Because also in the dried hand, it looks like I saw a little pink worm-like larva, which they are called worms too, perhaps. The dragons have been called worms. And then there's little white hatchlings, and then there's a longer kind of proper, also seems to be white and reflective, polywog type. Then we have our paddled hands. Then the hands evolve later, and the hands become the long 3 fingers, and the 3 fingers seem to grow irregularly and become crab-like almost in appearance, which is interesting. They suggest that a crab-like hands is part of all living things evolution, that we will resort to crab-like hands as we sort of devolve, I guess. Would it be called devolving? It wouldn't be devolving. It would just be evolving. There's no such thing as devolving, is there? It would be evolving for another purpose. Then from there, they would likely grow their back limbs, resorb their tail. The tail would be another stage, and then eventually we get to our adults. So awesome. Live long and prosper. We had another good show. I'll see or hear you Wednesday afternoon, 1 p.m. EST for the Green Room on X, and try to pay attention to the weekly larva hunts. You never know what might be there. All right. Live long and prosper. It's been a great show. I had fun. I hope you did. Let's play our theme song, our outro. I said, let's play our outro. Oh, never mind. Buttons aren't working. Either is my end stream button.